She laughed and leaned on the kitchen counter like this was a sitcom. "You're acting like it's a crime," she said. "It's not. I did what I wanted. You're just convenient." My stomach didn't drop like in the movies. It went quiet, like someone turned the volume down inside me. I looked at her for a second longer than normal. I nodded once, like she'd just confirmed a shipping address. And I said, calm and flat, "Then you won't be using me anymore." Hey friends, please like this video and leave a comment with your impressions. This will be a great help. Thank you. We never tire of reminding you, it's all thanks to you. Let me back up because the way we got here matters. My name's Grant, I'm 32, and I work as a building inspector for a mid-size county in western Pennsylvania. Not glamorous, mostly clipboard work, code books, and people trying to convince me that "it's been fine for years" is the same thing as safe. I liked the job because it was simple and honest. If something is solid, it's solid. If it's not, you fix it. There's comfort in that. I met Tessa at a charity art auction in a town called Meadville. Not Pittsburgh, not Philly, just a place with a diner that still serves pie in a spinning glass case and a hardware store that knows your name. Tessa was the kind of woman who could make a slow room feel alive. She wore these bright dresses, always had her hair done, and talked like she had 10 tabs open in her mind at once. She worked in event marketing for a regional brewery brand. That job came with a built-in social circle, tastings, launch parties, patio season, people who always knew where the next thing was happening. On our first date, she suggested a little taco place, then pulled out her phone and said, "Okay, let's do something fun after, like a pop-up or a rooftop." There were no rooftops in Meadville. I laughed. She laughed too. It felt easy. For a while, it was. We moved in together after a year and a half. 2-bedroom apartment above a dentist's office on a street where the traffic got quiet after 9. The place had old radiators that clicked like they were thinking. The front door stuck in the winter. Our neighbor's dog barked at my keys every morning like it was personal. We made it ours anyway. Tessa put warm string lights around the living room window. I mounted a small shelf for her plants and labeled the light switches because she always flipped the wrong one and got annoyed. We had dumb little rituals. Sundays we'd do grocery shopping and argue about cereal like it mattered. She'd buy fancy seltzer. I'd buy plain coffee. She'd steal my hoodies and then act surprised when I wanted them back. She'd dance barefoot in the kitchen while pasta boiled. I'd stand behind her and check the stove like an old man. She'd turn her head and say, "Relax, Grandpa." I was steady. She liked that, she said. And I think at first she meant it. But being steady is only attractive when the other person still wants to build something. When they stop building, your stability starts feeling like a cage to them. The change didn't happen all at once. It never does. It started with little things. She started taking work calls in the bedroom with the door closed. She started saying, "My plans more than our plans." She'd come home smelling like citrus perfume I didn't recognize, and when I'd ask, she'd say, "Oh, my coworker Kayla sprayed it, it got on me." Maybe that was true, maybe it was. At the time I filed it in the mental drawer labeled, "Don't be paranoid." Then her nights got later. At first it was normal stuff, client dinners, taste testing events, a last-minute run to drop banners off somewhere. Then it became vague. We're just networking. We're supporting another brand. It's complicated, you wouldn't get it. That one stung more than she probably meant it to. Because I did get it. I got that she liked being around people who were always talking, always laughing, always drinking, always moving. I got that my idea of a good night was a shower, clean sheets, and a documentary where nothing exploded. I didn't try to force her to be like me. I didn't say no to her going out. I just asked for the basics. A text when she'd be late. A little respect. The first small but off scene happened on a Tuesday. She told me she was going to a planning meeting after work. "Just a quick one," she said, already halfway out the door. "Don't wait up." At 10:30, I was brushing my teeth when I heard her come in. I walked into the living room and she was standing there in her coat, phone in hand, like someone had hit pause. Her eyes darted to the couch, then to the window. "Hey," I said soft, "everything okay?" She jumped like she hadn't expected me to exist in my own apartment. Yeah, she said too fast. My phone died. But her phone was lit up, bright, unlock screen open. She saw me notice. She turned it face down in her palm. Then she smiled like she could smooth it over. You're so observant, she said, like it was cute. And then she walked into the bathroom and locked the door. That lock click was tiny, but it lodged in my ribs. I stood there for a second and stared at the dark TV screen, my reflection looking back at me like I was a stranger. I didn't yell, I didn't chase her, I just went to bed. The next morning she acted normal, overly normal. Too much eye contact, too much touching my arm, too much babe in her sentences. I let it pass. I told myself I was tired. I had a pile of inspection reports. Life was busy. Couples go through phases. Then 3 weeks later, I noticed the first real crack. We had a shared iPad on the kitchen counter. It was old, mostly used for recipes and streaming. Tessa liked it for making playlists while she cooked. We had it set up with a shared email because it was easier. The email was basically a junk drawer. Receipts, shipping confirmations, calendar invites, random promo codes. One Friday, I came home early because an inspection got canceled. I was in a good mood for once. I stopped at a bakery and bought these ridiculous chocolate croissants she loved. I put them on a plate. I poured myself coffee. I opened the iPad to put on music. That's when a notification banner slid across the top. Your reservation is confirmed. It was an email preview. And the subject line was, Romantic Weekend Package Confirmation. I blinked because my brain didn't want to read it. Then my eyes moved down and I saw the name of the place, Pine Hollow Inn. I knew that name. Everyone in the county knew that name. It was a little lodge out near the lake. Couples went there for anniversaries. It had fireplaces and wine bundles and those clawfoot tubs people take pictures in. My first instinct was actually to smile, because for 1 second I thought she was surprising me. Then my stomach did drop. Because the dates were the next weekend. And in the guest name, line, visible right in the email preview, it said, Tessa Mullins and Eric S. Eric. I didn't know an Eric personally, not close, but I knew the name from her stories. Eric was her new client contact. The guy who worked with distribution, the one she mentioned casually like he was a piece of office furniture. That's when I noticed, isn't dramatic enough for what happened inside me. It was like everything in my head lined up, like magnets snapping into place. The late nights. The locked bathroom door. The new perfume. The way she'd stopped looking at me when she talked. My hands went cold. I stared at the iPad screen, at a bright little preview that felt like it was mocking me. I didn't open the email right away. That sounds weird, but it's true. I just stood there with the croissants on a plate, coffee steaming, and I felt this very clean, very clear thought. If I'm wrong, I ruin my life for nothing. If I'm right, I need to be smart. So I did the simplest legal thing. I opened the email that was sent to our shared inbox on a device we both used. The full confirmation popped up. 2 nights romantic package, room type, total cost, deposit charged. There was even a note section that said, celebrating just because read. I didn't scream, I didn't punch anything, I didn't even cry. I took screenshots on the iPad because it was right there. I sent them to myself. Then I forwarded the email to my personal address. Then I closed the app. Then I sat down at the kitchen table and ate one of the croissants like a robot. I chewed, I swallowed, I drank coffee. My hands still shook a little. Then my phone buzzed. Tessa, hey babe, running behind, don't start dinner. Then another. Tessa, also can you grab my black dress from the cleaners tomorrow? I stared at the texts until the letters stopped looking like they belonged to the same language. I did one thing after that. I opened our banking apps. We didn't have fully combined finances. I'm not that guy, but we had a joint account for rent and utilities. Each month we'd drop our portion in. It paid the landlord and the bills. Simple. I checked the recent transactions. And there it was. A charge from Pine Hollow Inn, same amount as the deposit in the email. Paid out of the joint account. She didn't just book a romantic weekend with another man. She used our shared money to do it. That's when the quiet inside me turned into something else. Not rage, not revenge. Just a switch flipping. Okay, I thought, now I know exactly what to do. I didn't confront her right away, not because I was plotting some movie twist, because I needed to protect myself legally and financially, and I needed to do it clean. I called my friend Marcus, who I'd known since high school. Marcus is the kind of guy who doesn't panic. He fixes things. He works maintenance at the local community college and always has the right tool in his truck. "Are you busy?" I asked. He heard my voice and didn't ask why. "Give me 20, he said. "Where are you?" Then I called my coworker Dana, because she's the most organized person I've ever met. She's the one who taught me that calm is a strategy, not a personality. Dana answered and said, "You sound like you're about to do something dumb. Don't." "I'm not," I said, "but I need to know the safest way to separate a joint account without getting accused of anything." There was a pause, then she said, "Okay, tell me the basics." I told her short, facts only. Dana sighed low, screenshots. "Yes." "Good, don't drain anything. Move only what's yours, document it, and notify in writing, and get your important stuff out first." I thanked her and hung up. I didn't call my mom, I didn't post online, I didn't tell the world. I started with a list. That sounds cold, but that's who I am. When something breaks, I make a checklist. Passport, birth certificate, work ID, laptop, external hard drive, photos, tools, anything sentimental. I walked through our apartment quietly like I was checking exits in a building. I put my documents in a folder. I packed a duffel with clothes and my laptop. I pulled my grandfather's watch out of the nightstand and put it in my pocket. Every zipper sound felt too loud in that apartment. At 6:30, Tessa walked in, hair perfect, lipstick on, smiling like she was bringing sunshine. "Hey," she said, leaning in for a kiss. I turned my head slightly, so it landed on my cheek. Her smile twitched. "What's that?" she asked, nodding at the duffel by the couch. "I'm packing a few things," I said. "For what?" I didn't answer yet. I watched her face carefully. She set her purse down, slow, like she was suddenly aware of gravity. "Grant," she said, drawing out my name. "What is this?" I reached for the iPad on the counter. I didn't shove it at her. I just slid it across the table, like evidence in a boring meeting. The confirmation email was still open, because I'd left it that way. Her eyes flicked down. For 1 second, she froze. Then she laughed, a short little sound, sharp. "Oh my God," she said, "you went through my stuff." I opened an email that came to our shared inbox, I said, on our shared iPad. Her face tightened, but she recovered fast. "It's not what you think," she said, already in performance mode. "It's a work thing. Eric is a client, You booked a romantic package," I said. "That's a label, the inn calls it that. It's marketing." "You put a heart emoji in the note," I said, "and you used the joint account." Now her laugh turned into something meaner. She rolled her eyes and leaned on the counter, exactly like I described at the start. "You're acting like it's a crime," she said. "It's not. I did what I wanted. You're just convenient." There it was, the cruel line, not screamed, not dramatic, just tossed out like trash. I waited a beat. I could hear the radiator click. I could hear a car pass outside. The world was still normal. That felt insane. Then I said, quiet, "Then you won't be using me anymore." She blinked like she didn't understand the sentence. "What does that mean?" she snapped, suddenly not laughing. "It means I'm done," I said. Her eyes flashed. "So you're breaking up with me because I have a life?" "No," I said. "I'm breaking up with you because you lied. You booked a couple's trip with another man, and you used our money to do it." "It was one deposit," she said, waving her hand. "It's not like I emptied your precious little account." I nodded slowly. We'll settle the account fairly. She scoffed. You're being dramatic. You're so boring sometimes. This is why. I didn't let her finish because I didn't want the sentence in my head forever. I picked up my duffel. Her eyes went wide. You're leaving, she said, voice rising. Yes, I said. Where are you going? Somewhere quiet, I said. She followed me to the door like she could block my body with her disbelief. You can't just walk out, she said. We live together, you're on the lease. I'm aware, I said. That's why I'm doing this clean. She laughed again, but it wasn't confident now. You always think you're so calm, she said, like you're better than everyone. I don't think I'm better, I said, hand on the knob. I think I'm finished. Then I opened the doors. The hallway smelled like someone's laundry detergent and old carpet. Normal. I stepped into it anyway. Behind me, she said my name once, sharp. I didn't turn around. I stayed at Marcus's place that night. He didn't ask for details. He just handed me a beer and said, You want the couch or the spare room? Spare room, I said. He nodded, cool, bathrooms down the hall, I got you. At 2 in the morning, my phone lit up. Tessa, we need to talk. Then you're overreacting. Then I can explain. Then where are you? I didn't respond. I slept like a rock anyway, which surprised me. The next morning, I did logistics. I called our landlord, Mrs. Klein. Older woman, no nonsense, owned 3 small buildings in town, always wore the same gray cardigan. Hi, Mrs. Klein, I said. It's Grant from Unit 2B. Oh, honey, she said, like she already knew. What happened? I kept it simple. We're splitting. I need to understand my options on the lease. She didn't get emotional. She got practical. Well, she said, you both signed. So either you both stay responsible until the term ends, or one of you takes it over and qualifies, or you both break it with a fee. I don't do drama, Grant. I do paperwork. I appreciate that, I said. That girl always had loud shoes, she added. Click, click, click at midnight. I almost laughed. It came out like a breath. Mrs. Klein said, if you want out, I need it in writing, and you'll need to move your stuff. If she wants to keep the place, she'll have to sign a new agreement. Otherwise, you both pay. Simple. I thanked her and hung up. Then I went to the bank. I didn't close the joint account on a whim. I didn't pull everything. I did exactly what Dana said. I printed the statement showing the Pine Hollow charge. I printed the last 2 months of deposits showing what I contributed. I transferred only my portion that was sitting in there at that moment, leaving enough to cover upcoming bills we'd already agreed on for the week. Then I messaged Tessa in writing. 1 text, short, no emotion. Joint account, I transferred my remaining portion. Statement and receipt saved. We can settle the Pine Hollow charge and any shared bills through email. Her response came fast. You're seriously doing this, like a business transaction? I didn't answer. Then I changed my passwords, not hers, mine. Email, banking, work portal, streaming apps, anything I paid for. I removed my card from the shared grocery delivery app. I turned off autofill on the shared iPad. Digital hygiene, simple. Nothing illegal, nothing sneaky, just protecting my access. At noon, Dana met me for coffee during lunch. She slid a folder across the table. I printed a lease exit template, she said. Not legal advice, just common sense. Also, take photos of your stuff when you move it out. Document condition. You do inspections, you know the drill. I nodded. My throat felt tight for the first time. Thanks, I said. Dana looked at me over her mug. You okay? I will be, I said, and I meant it. That afternoon, I called my sister, Holly. She's blunt in a way that feels like a slap but helps. I told her the basics. Holly went silent for a second, then said, do not go back there alone when she's angry. I wasn't planning to, I said. Good, she said, and if anyone tries to guilt you, send them 1 fact and stop. You're not on trial. That turned out to be useful fast. Because the flying monkeys showed up by evening. First was Kayla, Tessa's coworker. I'd met her once at a brewery event. She was loud, always laughing, always filming stories for Instagram. Kayla called me at 7:30. Grant, she said like she was talking to a child. Okay, so Tessa is really upset. I'm not discussing it, I said. She said you invaded her privacy, Kayla pushed. Like that's toxic. It was a confirmation email sent to our shared inbox, I said. That's all. Still, Kayla said, you could have just talked like adults. I didn't argue. I did the one response Holly recommended. I texted Kayla one screenshot of the email header with the shared inbox address visible and the romantic weekend package subject line. No caption, just the screenshot. Kayla didn't reply after that. The second attempt came from someone closer. Tessa's older brother, Jonah, called me the next day. Jonah was a firefighter in a neighboring town. Big voice, big presence, not a bad guy, just protective. Grant, he said, what the hell is going on? I kept my voice even. Tessa booked a couple's weekend with another man and charged the deposit to our joint account. I'm separating clean, that's it. Jonah exhaled hard. She told me you're trying to ruin her life, he said. I'm not, I said, I'm just leaving. There was a pause, then Jonah said, quieter, is it true? Yes, I said, and I have the confirmation email. Another pause, I could hear him thinking. Finally he said, okay, I'm not getting in the middle, just don't do anything dumb. I won't, I said. He hung up. No drama, no shouting, just a door closing. 2 days later, Marcus helped me move. We went when Tessa was at work. I didn't want a scene. Mrs. Klein had told me we could coordinate access as long as nobody changed locks without permission. I took photos of every room before touching anything. The walls, the floor, the appliances, the state of the bathroom. I took my stuff only. Clothes, books, my desk, my tools, my grandmother's photo album, the cast iron pan I'd owned before we met. Every time the tape ripped off the roll, it sounded like a tiny tear in something I couldn't repair. Marcus carried boxes like it was normal. At one point, I opened the closet and saw Tessa's black dress hanging there, the one she wanted me to pick up from the cleaners. I stared at it for a second. Then I closed the closet. Not my business anymore. Before I left, I wrote a note on a sticky pad. Not a letter, not a speech, just the smallest thing that felt true. Not your safety net. I stuck it on the inside of the kitchen cabinet where she kept her fancy seltzers. Then I took my keys off the ring and left them on the counter with a small envelope addressed to Mrs. Klein, per her instructions. The final click of the door behind me sounded like relief. The lice situation took a week to sort. Tessa wanted to keep the apartment at first. Then she realized she'd have to qualify a loan and cover the full rent plus the utilities. She tried to bargain. You can just keep paying your half for a few months, she texted, until I figure it out. I replied once, one sentence. No, we will follow the lease terms. She called, I didn't answer. She emailed, I responded with bullets, not feelings. I offered the clean options. She takes over and signs with the landlord, or we both break the lease with the fee and split it fairly, or we both stay responsible until the term ends while I'm not living there, which I was not willing to do. Mrs. Klein didn't play games. She told Tessa she had 48 hours to decide. Tessa broke the lease. We split the fee. I paid my half directly to Mrs. Klein with a memo line, receipt saved, clean. For the joint account, I proposed something simple. We each pay our share of the bills up to move-out day, then close it. The Pine Hollow deposit was hers alone since it wasn't a shared expense. Tessa fought that in text for a day. It was coming from our money, she wrote, so it's our problem. I responded with one calm message and attached the bank statement showing the exact amounts I'd deposited versus what she had. I contributed X, you contributed Y. The Pine Hollow deposit is a personal expense. I will not split it. Then I stopped. Silence is underrated. 2 weeks passed, then 3. I moved into a small one-bedroom across town, above a bookstore. The landlord, there was a quiet guy named Omar who handed me the keys and said, "If anything leaks, text me. If you smell gas, call the emergency line. Welcome." The place smelled like old paper and fresh paint. The first night I slept on an air mattress. The room echoed, the fridge hummed loud. I ate a microwave burrito and watched a show on my laptop. It wasn't sad exactly. It was empty. But empty is better than poisoned. That's when my routine started to change. I joined a small gym that opened at 5 a.m. No music, just weights and people minding their business. I started taking a night class on residential energy codes because it could help me get promoted. I sat in the back, took notes, asked questions like I was rebuilding myself one brick at a time. I stopped checking my phone every time it buzzed, waiting for her name. And slowly, my body stopped bracing for impact. 1 month after the breakup, I got a promotion offer. Not huge, but real. Senior inspector role, more responsibility, better pay, a little respect from people who used to try to charm me out of doing my job. Dana high-fived me in the hallway like we were teenagers. Marcus sent me a picture of a beer with the caption, "Proud of you, dude." Holly texted, "See, your life didn't end, it got quieter." She was right. Then, on a Thursday night, my phone lit up with a number I didn't recognize. I let it ring out. A minute later, I got a voicemail notification. I listened. It was Tessa. Her voice was softer than I remembered, no sharp edges, just tired. "Grant," she said, I'm sorry, I'm actually sorry. I didn't realize what I was doing. I started therapy. I know that sounds like a cliché, but I needed someone to tell me I was selfish, I was cruel." She paused like she expected me to respond through the voicemail. "I miss you," she continued. "I miss the way you made life feel safe. I know I didn't appreciate it. I know I said horrible things. I was trying to justify myself, and I'm sorry." Her voice cracked. "Can we talk just once, please?" I stared at my phone. For a second, I felt the old pull, the old urge to fix, to smooth things over, to be the stable one who holds everything up. Then I remembered the email, the heart emoji, the word convenient. And I remembered that note I left. "Not your safety net." I didn't call her back that night. I went to the gym the next morning. I did my workout. I showered. I went to work. I did inspections. I came home and cooked chicken and rice in my quiet apartment above the bookstore. Then I replied to her voicemail with a text, one text, calm. "We can talk by email about any remaining logistics. I'm not reopening the relationship." She responded fast. "Grant, please, I'm a different person." I read it once, then I set the phone down. At 9 p.m. she called again. This time I answered because I wanted to end it clean. "Hello," I said. She inhaled like she'd been holding her breath for days. "Thank you," she said, voice shaking. "Thank you for answering. Grant, I'm sorry. I know I hurt you. I didn't think you'd actually leave." "I did," I said. "I know," she whispered. "I know, and I deserved it. I want a chance to make it right." "You can make it right for yourself," I said. "That's good, do that." "So that's it?" she asked, voice rising with panic. "After everything, you're just done?" I looked around my apartment. My dishes were clean. My gym bag was by the door. My code book sat on the table with sticky notes like little flags. The window glowed with the bookstore lights below. It felt peaceful. It felt earned. "Yes," I said, "that's it." She started crying, not fake, real. "I didn't mean it," she said. "When I said you were convenient, I was angry. I was scared. I was." I cut in gently because I didn't want her to spiral, and I didn't want to punish her. I just wanted the truth. "You said what you meant in that moment," I said, and I listened. Silence on the line. She whispered, "I loved you." I didn't argue with her. Love can exist and still not be enough. "I hope you find what you're looking for," I said, "but you won't be using me anymore." It wasn't said with heat. It was just a boundary, spoken like a fact. She sniffed, small, "So you're really done?" I'm really done, I said. Then I added the only thing I needed her to hear, the mirror line that matched her cruelty without becoming cruel. I'm not your convenience. She went quiet, like the words landed. Okay, she said finally, barely audible. Okay, I'm sorry. I know, I said. And I hung up. After that, the world didn't explode. No dramatic reunion, no revenge, no big speech. Just quiet. Weeks turned into months. I kept my routine. I got stronger at the gym. I passed my class. I started cooking real food instead of grabbing takeout. I got a second-hand bicycle and rode the trail by the lake on Sundays early when the air was cold and the world felt empty in a good way. Sometimes I'd see couples holding hands on the path and feel a small ache. But it wasn't panic, it wasn't humiliation. It was just a reminder that I had standards now and that I didn't have to negotiate them. One night I was locking up my bike outside the bookstore and Omar waved from his car. Hey, he said, you settling in okay? Yeah, I said. He smiled, good, you look lighter. I laughed softly because it was true. Upstairs I made tea. I sat by the window with the lights low. My phone was face down on the table, quiet, no buzzing, no drama. And for the first time in a long time, I wasn't holding my life together with my hands clenched. I was just living it. Calm, clean mind.